I am so excited. Fun fact, this is Charlie's first bubble tea. I was so scared of jinxing it. Like if I talk too much about my dreams and aspirations, then somehow they might not come true. Never underestimate yourself. Don't be the reason why your dreams do not come into fruition. Be like Kanye, who believes he's a god.
It's like everything you touch is gold. Be like that.
Be like Kanye. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Charlie Karomi, and apart from being drop-dead gorgeous and incredibly talented, I am also an immigrant. You see, in 2022, I packed up my bags and left my home country of Kenya to a country I'd never been to before. For adventure, for opportunity, for meh, why not? But my story is not unique. You see, every single year, tons of people immigrate to new countries to start new lives. Just like me. That means tons of new exciting stories are out there. This is a place where you'll get to listen to some of them. This is Vybes N Visas.
And now my love for you is so strong.
Hey, welcome to Vybes N Visas with me, your host, Charlie Karomi. This is the place where immigrants, aka adventurers, aka explorers, come to share their exploits and tell us all the things that they are up to. Now, stereotypes are one thing that I hate. I hate stereotypes. How people view one another, and just because you're from a certain place or look a certain way, they just assume they know your whole story. Like the stereotype that if you're from the central region of Kenya, they just assume that when you go somewhere, you'll just start a business at Biashara. Why would you just assume that? And today on Vybes N Visas is a lady who comes from the central region in Kenya, and she started a Biashara, a business in Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the one, the only, Hilda Mwihaki! I'm sure I did that.
Yes, I saw that.
Stereotypes are a big thing. Niaje, Hilda, how are you doing? How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I am well. Oh, you'd asked me earlier if I prefer being called Charlie or Karomi, whichever.
Okay.
Whichever. Unataka kuniita nini?
Karomi.
Yeah. Aya, tuende tu flow na hiyo.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Hilda?
I am good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. I was telling guys that Hilda was actually supposed to be the very first guest on Vybes N Visas. My wife and I met her in Victoria. I think it was September. I don't think I know, because my wife and I are here on our anniversary, so I should know.
You should know.
I should know. So we were here, and then we met Hilda, and she was doing her thing, and we'll get into that later. But yeah, she was meant to be the very first guest, but better late than never. I'll see you.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're in Victoria right now. You live in Victoria?
I do live in Victoria.
Is this the capital city of British Columbia?
It is, yeah. Victoria is the capital city.
Simnajisikianga.
Sana.
Munaringanga.
Sana.
But Hilda, before we even get to asking you the big question of why you came here, so who is Hilda? She's a resident of Victoria who started a business, or?
Yes, I did start a business last year after completing school.
Okay, so Hilda is an entrepreneur
yes.
based in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada.
Yes.
All right. That's who Hilda is. And now we go back. Every single episode of Vybes N Visas starts with a big question, right? When did you come to Canada?
2019, September.
2019.
Yes.
So think back to 2019, to Hilda then, when she made that decision to come over. So ask her this question. Why did you come here? Like, what is the reason that made you move from Kenya? You're from Kenya, yes?
Yes.
What made you move from Kenya to come to Canada? Go.
I was trying to find a resting place for my soul. I was so restless, and I needed to find a place that could make me feel calm, like a calming just to rest my soul or just to calm my soul.
I think that's what you're going to. I don't know. Resting your soul kind of sounds like R.I.P.
I know, not
like
R.I.P. But
I don't want to die. So
No.
you came to Canada to calm your soul.
yes, to calm my soul. That's a better, yeah.
Okay. Let's do. Yeah, you came to Canada to calm your soul.
Yes.
Okay. Also, just because I'm super paranoid, let me just check if this camera is recording really quickly. The trials and tribulations of being a solo. Oh yeah, we are recording.
We're recording.
We're
Okay,
recording.
good.
Yeah. And we can continue. Nyume panic. Na iko sawa. So you came to Canada to calm your soul.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Wait, take me back to, you said your mom used to travel a lot, take you guys with her. Where are some of the places you went?
So I've been to South Africa numerous times.
Mzanzi.
Exactly.
Come on. How's it? Sawubona.
I think it's no Siyabonga. I think it's thank you, but is that what they say?
No, Sawubona is the greeting.
Oh.
If you're South African watching the channel and I just butchered the language, I'm sorry. That's what I remember. I believe you say Sawubona. I can't remember the reply.
Yeah, I didn't stay enough to learn those words.
Yeah, but you visited.
But that's because almost a big chunk of my family lives in South Africa.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they do. So that's what made South Africa a good destination. So I went there numerous times growing up. And then my mom would travel everywhere. Like she would just go to I don't know, she's just a very free-spirited person and very adventurous, extremely adventurous. And
she would go with work or like leisure?
Leisure, yeah. So she's the one, I think she infected me with the travel bug. So we would travel, and that's when the aspiration of wanting to become a pilot came from. But it wasn't because of the job, it was because I could see them traveling everywhere. I was like, I want to be that. I want to be that growing up. Just being able to travel anywhere that I wanted to, or at least where I was, told to go to. But either way, I was traveling.
Yeah.
So,
what happened to the dream of being a pilot? What happened?
Died.
What happened?
Died.
Why did it die now?
Yeah, because when I finished high school, I applied to I was trying to get a scholarship for the aviation program, to get into the aviation program, but I didn't qualify for it. Yeah, so many reasons, but I did not qualify for that, and I didn't want to burden my mom with, because aviation program is quite expensive.
But then, as you said, I feel like if you really, because Umesema, it wasn't for the job in itself, it was for the travel.
It was.
I feel like if it was really for the job, like holding the steering wheel, what's it called?
I have no idea.
What's the steering wheel of a plane called?
Yeah, just
how are we adults and
we do not know that. Call it the steering wheel.
The steering wheel.
Yeah.
If it was for that aspiration, I feel like even your mom would have been like, you talk about this thing too much, and
Exactly.
But it wasn't for the aviation, it was for the travel.
It was for the travel and just going anywhere and everywhere. That's what I really wanted.
Okay. So aviation didn't work out, but you pursued other interests. By the time you were coming to Canada, had you just finished high school? Like, were you fresh out of high school and then you came to Canada? How did you come to Canada? Explain to me that. What happened for you to come to Canada?
Yeah. So once the dream of becoming a pilot died, a friend and I went to, she just hit me up and said, there's this convention happening. And I didn't know what it was about. But when I got there, it was UNICEF. They had a convention, right? So, they gave us like all these papers, like, talking to us about wanting to live abroad or going to study abroad. And I was like excited about the idea, but I didn't know, like, if I was to leave, where would I go? And, what am I going to study? What country am I going to? I didn't know any of that. They introduced me to London, like the UK, going to Leeds University, but I didn't want to go back to the UK. I don't know, I wasn't fascinated by it anymore. So that, I didn't pursue that further because I didn't know. As soon as my dream of becoming a pilot died, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what course to take in school or whether I wanted to go to the university or not. So since I did not have a plan B, I had to go to the university that I was called to, and then pursue my course and just see where it goes from there.
Mm-hmm. In case you're watching and you're not familiar with the Kenyan system, so in Kenya you do your high school exams, you apply. I want to go to this university to study this, and then that's kind of like a suggestion. Depending on what marks you get, in the case in the high school exam, they place you wherever. So like I was placed. You know the school I was called to? JKUAT Taita Taveta. I was meant to go to Taita Taveta, but my mom was like, John, no. So I went to Strathmore.
Oh.
So you decided to just go ahead with the course that you were called to. What did you go do in uni?
I did business administration with IT finance option.
What?
Yeah, but no, it's not as fancy as it sounds.
No, it's business administration with IT finance option. It's very fancy.
Yeah, but see, it was such a blur. Like my university life was such a blur because it wasn't something that I wanted to do. It was just something to pass the time, or at least until I knew what I wanted to do. So it was just passing time. Like, okay, let's do this until we figure out what we want to do.
Yeah, I relate with you on that one because I know some people take what are called gap years to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I think I went through the same because when I left high school, I was like, because I knew I liked acting, but back then I was like, so I'm just going to become an actor. And then, because I didn't know like acting could be an actual career. Mm-hmm. So before I figured that out, my mom showed me, hey, Strathmore recruiting, and then I saw a course. I did business, BBIT in uni, and I was like, that's 4 years. I like computers, and Strathmore is a nice school. Let me go there as I figure out. So I completely understand, because after the pilot thing fell through, you are lost. You're trying to figure out what you want to do.
Yeah. And I was just like, how is everybody knowing what they want to do? Like, am I the only one who doesn't know what I want to do?
Because it seems like people, it's like someone is like, oh, I'm off to med school. It's like, oh, so you want to become a doctor? Yeah, I've wanted that for a long time. I'm like, what do you want to do?
No.
It's like you even feel like you want to go around asking people for suggestions. Oh, no.
Yeah, no.
What do you think I should do?
Exactly.
So 4 years trying to figure yourself out.
Yeah, 4 years of just trying to figure out what I wanted with my life and just feeling lost. The whole time just feeling lost. So my university life was such a blur. I can barely remember anything. But then I finished school and I got a job, and then I started doing the business. And that's because like half of my family are entrepreneurs, and I was so fascinated because I would meet like very rich people, successful people, and I'd ask them like, oh, what do you do? They're like, yeah, I own my business, I run my business. I was like, that's it.
So that's the trick.
Yeah, that's the trick. Like, so, you go to the hospital, you see the doctors are so rich, but who owns that hospital, Now that's where the money is. And that's where my mind went to. It's like, okay, you know what? We're going to venture into business. And at least I had my family who were doing that as well. And people around me were doing that.
What business did you start? Tell us about the business. Come on.
Yeah, I did different things, but eventually I started doing, I started selling handmade stuff from Kenya.
Yeah.
Like easy.
What's the name of your business?
Currently, my business is called Masai Handicrafts.
Come on, please go right now, follow everywhere. Please go do the thing, Masai Handicrafts.
Yes, and so I did that for a while back while I was still in Kenya. So working and doing business at the same time. Oh, and I think I was still doing my CPA at the time, because that's when I met a certain friend of mine. And during that time, I started feeling restless again. So the same restlessness that I felt after finishing high school came back when I finished university and I started working. So I started feeling restless. And it's a kind of restlessness that I cannot explain. You eat, like you wake up, it's the first thing that comes to your mind. You're eating, that's the only thing you're thinking about. And the restlessness that I was feeling was for me to leave. Everything was just telling me to leave, like I had to leave.
Leave the job, leave the country, leave the city?
I didn't know what it was, but I knew like what I was doing was just not it for me.
Yeah.
And so I started feeling restless. And then while I remember we were in class with my friend, and during the class we started talking. They're like, yeah, you know what, I want to leave the country. I want to leave and go to the States because she had family there. And I was like, oh, like I've always wanted to leave the country, but I didn't like the States. Like States was not appealing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, you know what, that's a really good idea. And in my mind I was thinking, you know what, maybe traveling is what I need. That's maybe just going somewhere and seeing how I feel. Maybe my soul will feel more calm. So we kept talking, and then one day she called me and told me, oh, you know what, there's this company that helps people travel through education. So I was like, okay. So we went together. Guess where she takes me?
UniServe. It's like, this place, I was here, 6 years ago. I was at this very place trying to figure out what I wanted, and it just hit me. It's like, you know what, this is what I need to do. I just need to leave the country. And that's where my journey began. Yeah. So if you're at UniServe, that means your avenue for leaving is school.
Yes.
You moved here to study. What school did you applied for? A uni in Canada or a college in Canada?
Yeah, I applied for a university in Canada. So I applied for a school in Kamloops. I don't know if you know Kamloops.
Yeah,
like
I know
BC.
I know the place. Yeah,
you know,
I've heard of Kamloops. Yeah. There's one of our fans who actually lives in Kamloops. When I was delivering things, they were Charlie, can you make it to Kamloops? I'm like, bruh, that's like 400 kilometers.
I know. It's so far because you have to take the ferry. Like, oh, it's so far.
What's the name of the uni in Kamloops?
Thompson Rivers University.
Thompson Rivers, TRU. Thompson Rivers University.
Yes.
Okay, so you applied for it back home?
Yes. So the agent, she was just like, she just said a lot of things about coming to Canada, but I barely heard anything. It's just, I'm leaving. You know what? Just pick whatever school, I do not care.
What about the course?
I didn't care.
It's like, whatever, man.
Yeah, for me, schooling was never like what I wanted. I did not care for schooling. It was just leave. Just leave. Take me anywhere. I do not care.
Because your soul is saying, Twende.
Yeah, Twende. Yes.
Let's go. So you went. What course did you actually pick?
I did my master's. I know.
What? Master's in what?
I did my MBA, so Master's in Business Administration.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, what year did you get enrolled?
So I had to do a GDPA. A GDPA, it's a graduate diploma in business administration. So I had to do that for a year because I think I didn't have enough job experience or
to go. The MBA.
Yes, to go straight into the MBA.
Your GDPA, did you do it back in Kenya or here?
No, here at TRU.
At TRU.
So it's like a bridging program to get into the master's program.
Oh, but now in the story, I'm still seeing us in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Talk to UniServe lady. She said TRU. You're like, okay, TRU, MBA, sawa.
Yes.
So I need to know the difficulty of coming to TRU in terms of like financing the move, talking to your people, like, cause. Telling your mom, was that easy to telling your mom?
Yes, absolutely. My mom, because she's the one, she always pushed that, like, make sure you travel, like, make sure you leave, because there's something about traveling that just broadens your horizon, like, it just broadens everything, broadens your horizon, just, you see and think differently, and so she kept pushing for me. So when I went to her and told her, you know what, Mom, I need to leave, I need to travel, she was like, okay. Like, where are we going? Like, unataka kwenda wapi?
It's like you're not going to ask me. You're just going to accept just like that. Yeah. Come on.
Like, let me tell you, in another life, I think sisi ni wa Masai. For some reason, I always think like tulikuwa tunafaa kuwa Masai because we are such nomadic
people. Yeah.
Like, and I've seen it with my mom. She's such a nomad, and then I got it from her. So yeah, she's like, yeah, you know what?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Yeah. And I don't know if other people experience this, but I had such trouble telling people, like speaking my dreams to people, like telling people I need to leave, I want to do this, I want to go this. I had such a big problem with that because I was so scared of jinxing it. Like if I talk too much about my dreams and aspirations, then somehow they might not come true because, just keep it to yourself until things work out.
I'm not sure, I haven't heard it a lot here in Canada.
Yeah.
It might be an African thing. You know how
True.
people say, if you tell too many people, someone will roga you, they'll call the witches, and then the witches will do a thing. But there's a certain power in telling people what you want to do. Because I remember the first time when I moved to Canada, the first video I made, I said on the video, I am going to be a movie star.
It's true.
So at least I put that out into the universe.
It's true.
And I feel like if more people start putting things out, even if it's a dream, don't be ashamed of it. Because sometimes there's shame in saying what, like that deep, dark, like there's a friend of mine who used to call it a hairy, audacious goal.
Whoa!
Like that big, hairy, audacious goal that you have. There's a aibu, a shame to saying it. But sometimes you say it and then you're like, it's up there.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think for me, I was comfortable telling my mom. So she's the one who saw that. Like she heard of all my dreams and aspirations, and she knew that, and that for me was just enough. And so we started the process of, planning my travel to Canada.
Was it difficult getting visas and everything and all of that?
It was not. The only problem was that I needed more job experience. And so I had to hold off on coming to Canada for about a year, and got a corporate job. So I had to get a job and work there for a year. So from 2018 to 2019 before coming here. And then, getting funds because it's
not cheap. It's not cheap. If there's one thing that you realize is that uni, I don't know about other countries, but in Canada for immigrants, it's top-notch education, and it's the quality of education is top-notch. Your opportunities when you maliza are really nice, but you will pay like an arm and a leg for it. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Did you do a harambe, or did you have money saved up, or did your mom go like, yeah, fine, I'm paying?
So my mom and my family just helped with that.
Aww.
Yeah. So, my uncle, shout out to him, and my mom were the biggest supporters and, investors, because they did invest in me.
Yeah.
And so they funded the whole thing.
God bless them.
Yeah, because you go wanakwambia, you need like 4M, because you're doing a master's program, and then they need to see you can pay for your school fees and your whatever you'll need for for what, 1 year or so, or 2 years. And so you need to have a lot of money.
Yeah, just sitting. By the like people just say
sitting.
Like you need to have someone says there's some people who are asked, we need to see about like 2 million Kenyan, which is like what, 20,000 Canadian dollars, about there.
Thereabout, yeah.
So you're like, how will I have all that money just sitting in a bank, just looking at just sitting? So I get that, but at least it is a blessing, as you've said. Your family members, your mom, your uncle, they invested, because that was an investment.
It was, yeah.
And with that, the visa things, and I guess since you traveled before, you didn't appear like a flight risk, so you look good, and you had the admission from the university as well.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
So apart from the money implication, everything else kind of flowed?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, apart from money was a big thing, and the requirements that the school need, needing job experience or checking your grades. Your grades need to be good, and you need to at least have, at least a bit of job experience, at least if you're not leaving from school immediately from your undergrad and then going into school, because I had a gap between that.
Yeah.
So they have to check, what were you doing between these years? Were you working? Were you studying? What were you doing? Because you need to explain all of this.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I was able to explain away the difference in the year, like from when I finished school to when I want to go to Canada, and getting the finances ready, then that was it.
I didn't actually think that was a thing. Like when university admissions are looking at your CV, your resume, they actually look out for gaps. So if you have like weird gaps in your resume, it's a red flag immediately.
It is, and not to deter other people, but even age. Like they look at so many things. They look at the age.
Wait, too young or too old, or what is it? What are they looking at?
Too old.
Too old.
Yes.
Oi.
Yeah, I don't know. It's that's how they explain to me. Like they check what age you are, because Canada is very friendly to immigrants, but they also need like people who can work. So they need a certain age that's strong enough so you're not a burden to the healthcare system, right?
So the younger you are, a bit better for you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's pause it right now. Where we are right now, Hilda has told us how she felt restless. Her soul was not at ease, and she just needed to move. And at this point in the story, she's got an admission to TRU. Thompson River University.
Yes.
And you're about to leave Kenya and come to Canada.
Yes.
When we come back, the story of settling in Canada, doing her GDBA, GDBA, that's the one.
Yeah.
So when we come back, it's a story of her coming to Canada, doing her GDBA, doing her MBA, starting work, and the next stage of her business of Masai handicrafts.
Yeah.
Okay, do not go anywhere. This is Vybes N Visas. We'll be right back.
And now my love for you is so strong.